Lila Emmanuel, it's Dad. Today's September 16th, 2023. Just got done taking a nap for Shabbat, Sabbath. Your mom used to hate that. Wake up, do something. No, it's the Shabbat. I'm going to rest. That's what God made the Shabbat for, is to rest. I like to sleep in Saturday mornings. I like to eat good breakfast. I start getting sleepy. I take a nap. I work hard all week. I have to stay up late getting things ready for the next day, doing laundry. Physically strain my body. Shabbat's my day to rest. So it's been a good day. Plus, it's the Feast of the Trumpets today. Last night I got together with some brethren and we celebrated the Feast of the Trumpets. We had a meal together. It was great. Danced before the Lord. And today's a big holiday, also a heathen holiday. It's funny how the devil makes heathen holidays line up with godly holy days. And so people forget about the holy days and they celebrate the heathen day. And so right now is the Septiembre 16. It's when the Mexican people celebrate their independence. And so I'm staying out of that. That stuff's going on in town. People are getting drunk and celebrating and hoopla and everything else. I'm staying away from all that. And I'm going to go to church right now, but these aren't the same people I fellowshiped with last night, because these people don't really keep God's 10 commandments. They keep like 9 of the commandments, but not the Shabbat. And these people don't keep the Feast of the Trumpets. I love them nonetheless, but and so I'm going to go fellowship with them, and hopefully they someday come out of that and start keeping God's feasts like we're supposed to, and keeping the Torah like we're supposed to. And something interesting, because where I go to fellowship, there's this church, they call it the House of Prayer. And there's this community. In this community, like this colonia, as they call them in Mexico, comprises of a family. This is a very big family, and many of them have been to the States and made money and sent it back and built houses and bought lands. And so in this community, everybody's related, okay? They're either somebody's brother-in-law or uncle or niece or nephew or just grandchild, cousin. They're all related somehow. Everybody is related in this community. Well, the community this family is a very godly family. It started with their grandparents or something. And they're not Catholics. They're, what you would call born-again Christian. And at some point, 1 or 2 of the men said, hey, we should be keeping the Torah. We should be keeping the Shabbat. And so like the family divided into 2. It's funny because it's kind of like Israel. God dividing Judah from the nation of Israel. And so the family got divided into 2. I guess you would say the Christian side of the family kept the big building, which is the church. And that's where I go to church. And then the other family is like the family that said we need to keep the law. So they started meeting in a house. And it's funny. It's because it's like each half is like 50-50 of the family. And the family's divided. I mean, they love each other. And sometimes one will speak at our church or something. But I actually went to the other half last night to do the Feast of the Trumpets because they keep that. And I can make an assessment about both sides of the family. And it's like the one side, the Christian side, they have Jesus, but they don't have the law. The other side, they have the law, but they don't have Jesus. And I'm trying to get this family to understand that each of them are missing something. And I came up with an analogy. Imagine a road, okay? And both sides of the family are going down this road in the same direction. But on this road, there's a ditch on both sides of the road. Well, one half of the family's in the ditch on the right side of the road. The other half of the family's in the ditch on the left side of the road. And both halves of the families are pointing to the other side and saying, "You guys are in the ditch and need to get out of the ditch." And the family on the other side that's in the ditch is saying the same thing. You guys are in the ditch. You need to get out of the ditch. But in reality, they're both in the ditch, right? They both need to come out of the ditch, right? The family that has the law but doesn't have Jesus needs to come out of the ditch and get Jesus. The family that has Jesus but doesn't have the law needs to come out of the ditch and get the law. And they need to be one united family again. So it's an interesting place where God has me. And it's amazing. Like, out of all the places in the world God could have taken me. Oh, and this Colonia, it's like in the middle of the, it's not in the middle, it's on the outskirts of the town, and nobody ever knows it. Like when people say, "Where's your church?" I tell them it's in El Paraiso. Nobody ever knows where El Paraiso is. Like, I could say any other name of any other colonia. I could say San Cristobal, I could say San Sebastian, I could say Jesus Maria, I could say San Pablo, I could say all the names of the colonias in our town, but if I say El Paraiso, nobody knows where El Paraiso is because it's kind of isolated, and nobody really knows about it, and because it's only inhabited by this one family, right? And this family's not worldly, so they're not out in the world rubbing elbows with people, and so nobody really knows them. So it's interesting how God has brought me to this little nook, I guess, in the middle of where nobody else is, and put me in the midst of these two families, right? Who are both godly families, who's one family, both sides are godly, and put me a gringo in the middle of all of them. It's so interesting. It's so interesting where I'm at. And I got to wonder, like, was this God's mission for me somehow to be able to come in as an outsider, see both sides, and try to get them on the right path? I don't know, but that's what I've been doing, and I'm about to get up and get ready and go into town for church tonight. And I had a dream. About my dad. My dad showed up here again. He showed up here, and I hugged him, and I said, "How's my family? Is something wrong with my family?" And he didn't say anything, and he was pausing, and I was waiting to hear, like, what's he going to tell me? I hope there's not a death in the family or something. Hopefully it's good news. But then I woke up. That's how it always happens in the dream. You just miss out. So, but I was so happy. I hugged my dad. I kissed his neck. And, but it wasn't real. None of it was real. Lila and Emmanuel, as always, I miss you and love you. Miss everyone again. I always miss everyone. That's the video for today. Work is going good with the carpenter. I love that. Finally getting some extra spending money. Buying this motorcycle has been such a help to me. I can work and drive into town every day of the week, and it costs me like 100 pesos, which is like $5 to fill up my motorcycle tank, And so I'm able to go into town and have a job and work. And I love doing carpentry work. I love it. It's so great. So I feel like God's maybe bringing me out of this, and I can start accumulating. And my goal is to get my store built up, get the car wash going with everything I need. And that way, if I ever do have to go back to surviving from the house again, I'll be more prepared for it this time around. Well, I love you guys, and God bless you, okay?